भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् जगतीमवितुं कलिताकृतयो विचरन्ति महामहसच्चलतः आहिनां शूरेवात्र विभासि गुरो भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् गुरुपुङ्गव पुङ्गवकेतनते समतामयतां न हि कोऽपि सुधीः शरणागतवत्सल तत्त्वनिधे भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् विदितानमय विशदैककला न च किञ्चन काञ्चनमस्ति गुरो द्रुतमेव विधेहि कृपां सहजां भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् अनन्तरूप अनन्तनाम आदिमूला नारायण अनन्तरूप
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शान्तिः 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः वो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्लोक, can you all hear me? थोड़ा आगे. Can you all hear me now? Repeat after me. अहंकारलये सुप्तौ भवेद्देहोऽप्यचेतनः अहंकार विकासार्थः Swapna sarvastu jagaraha. The most loving fields of experience is being described. What is it that we all love? Sleeping. Is to dream around. We love that. So that is being explained here. Ahankara laye suptau. Suptau. Sushupti avastha, meaning the deep sleep. What is the deep sleep? When is it? Ahankara. Ahankara means the ego which is identified with consciousness. Laye jataha. It becomes completely absorbed. Then what happens? So there was this Amma. She was very frustrated with her husband. And they were not newly married. After a long while. And this Amma, she said, I have to give back one day. I said, Amma, who is stopping you? You should. And she didn't expect that kind of a reaction from me saying that I would allow her, I would even think of allowing such things. And her eyes popped up. Can? So sure. Make sure that your husband is snoring. And scold him all that which you had to give him your peace of mind. What's the fun in that? So what do you expect? The expressions when I'm scolding him. Because in deep sleep, there is absolutely no reaction. Why? In the complete unconscious state. There is no ego to react. All the other organs which have to silently function, they keep functioning. Ego is completely knocked out. And in that knocked out state, there is no action or any kind of a to the outside world. Pratispandana means to react. What happens to the deha? Dehaha api achetanaha. Even the body becomes like an unconscious state. How many of you sleep in a direction and get up in another direction? There are people that roll. There are people that kick in their sleep. Oh boy. Dangerous fellows. And it is funny when you are traveling. Sleeping next to me in his seat. Suddenly he's like, he's turned and he's sleeping. There's a long flights, talking flights to India. Here, unfortunately, I understand most of the languages. Passing under his breath. He was sleeping, he was knocked out. And then in that, he moved his hand. Had duck. He had no control over it. dreaming state. But then when you hit the deep sleep state, sometimes when you are physically tired, waiting for tonight. Yeah, my head is singing, waiting for tonight. Physically very tired. And when you fall on that bed, and the next day when you wake up, you are in the same position. That means your body was so tired that it was not during the sleep. Bhaved achetana. Ahankara ardha. Ardha means half. That ahankara is half awake. Not connected to the physical body, and yet it is not completely asleep. It's in its own lucid state. What happens there? Swapnaha sarvaha tu jagaraha. Swapna avastha. Ahankara vikasa ardha swapnaha. Ahankara is completely asleep, it is deep sleep. When it is half, it is swapna. Hatu, when it is completely awake, it is called the Jagrad Avastha, plane of experience. Now, in the waking plane of experience, the interactions and the calculations of this ahankara is pretty intense. You get into a room, you get into an environment. Don't you start reading again? Like, who is seeing? Who is not seeing? Who is smiling at me? Who is not smiling? Who is supposed to be paying attention but is acting as though not paying attention? Go to parties. Has not paid attention to you. The ego is feeling left out. And sometimes I do this with the chicks as well as with the brahmachari. When you recognize them in a situation where they're not expecting to be recognized, you should see their awkwardness. I say, Swami, enough, don't keep pushing it further. Reacting there through the body, mind, and intellect. It is the body, it is that ahankara alone that is here into the world and various options. There is a crackling sound outside. What will be your reaction? Suddenly you will turn around and say, what happened? Functioning. And suddenly the AC is turned off. And it starts feeling stuffy. Through the organ, what is it that is reacting? What is it that is jumping? Every stimulus. It is this ahankara alone. When it is completely active, identified with all layers possible. That is ahankara in its waking state. In the dream state, it's a very beautiful thing to analyze. memories of the waking world in. It's like when you had the film rolls, the to process it, be these positives that are printed out, which are overlapping frames all together on the same positive, on the same photograph. You see somebody's head, somebody's hand, somebody's. It's like two, three environments chopped into one. It's a chaos. And that is what happens in the dream. Guruji used to give this example. I love that example. So one day it seems, went to a discourse, and after the discourse, he hired a rickshaw. The rickshaw came to a standstill because the road was blocked by a bandar show, Madari. Bandar is a monkey show. Literally monkey business. Monkeys. There are two monkeys. And one dressed as a girl. So he creates a conversation there. So he says, and the bandar looks at him and turns away. Now you're insulting me in front of a girl. So, okay, Raja Sahab. I said, huh. And the bandar is trained to react. So I said, yes, nothing. Are you in love with that girl? Do you wish to marry her? Do you have enough money? So he's wearing a two-piece suit. So he pulls out the upper pocket, empty. The side pockets, empty. What do you want to do? So then he has this some rope tricks and other things. So he jumps around and does things. A good show. But how are you going to make money out of it? A suit, they're wearing a cap, takes out the cap, goes to the public, and to get married to this girl, and your donations will help. And collects. And the Madari spreads a towel or something, a piece of cloth, and all this is emptied out. Segregates the coins and the. I said, is this sufficient? I said, no. And then again does some few tricks. Now he is also eyeing for that girl. Off. And then again takes out the cap, goes around, gathers. The Madari makes money out of that bandar. So Guruji also watched it because the traffic was blocked. He went back to the ashram, made himself some khichdi or something, ate. So in his dream, whose dream is this? Guruji's dream. Dream, he saw, he was still a brahmachari then when he made this story up. Saw the monkey wearing yellow clothes, sitting and giving pravachan. And the brahmachari rope tricks to make money. It is not an exact display of the waking world. Hodgepodge of the waking world projecting itself in the dream. Another way to look at dream or how the dreams express is those things which are not fulfilled in the waking world. restrictions in the waking world. So what does that individual do? Imagines and envisions all that in the dream. They say that even those people who never had a liking for sweets, they didn't have sweet tooth, but they developed diabetes for sweets. A doctor, does it happen that way? And they say that. How would their dreams be? I'm imagining in the nice soft sands of Shira, oceans of kheer, mountains of laddus, hula hoop of jalebi. Can you imagine? Stop imagining me doing the hula hoop. What you're doing? Yeah, Indian version of Candyland, yes. Factory. Everything is chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. So you imagine things. Because that cannot be fulfilled in the waking world, so in the dream world. So once a brahmachari saw a wedding procession. He was in some village. He had just had his bhiksha, drew some water from the well under that tree. Just you have a platform kind of a thing. Right next to it is the well. There. And his last thing that he saw was the marriage procession. And in that marriage procession, while seeing it, he saw how the dulha and dulhan, the bride and bridegroom, were very beautiful, adorable. And while he was observing that, he fell asleep. So in his dream, he became the dulha. He became the groom. They got married. And usually the story ends happily ever after. Whenever Shakespeare ends his story, they say, that is when the story actually begins. So one day he was trying to please his wife, gave him a push and said, "Chalo, hato," and pushed him. A jerk and landed into the well which was right next. Remembered, I'm glad I'm still a sannyasi. Imagine the wife in the dream can push you in a well. What will happen when you do get married? There are various kinds of patterns that happen in the dream world. It is projected by the ego through the mind. Who are all the different characters? Same mind which is throwing out all these images. The olden days, the cartoons were in 2 dimension. It is like a vivid 3-dimensional cinema that is happening inside. Who is the one who is acting as you in the dream? Is you alone. Even in that dream, there is a special identification with that character which is acting as you. And less of identification with the other characters that are projected by you yourself. Isn't it? And when that you playing that role in that dream, vivid, scary situation, that people have an impact of it, even in their physical level, that they start sweating. Nightmares. So this fellow was running scared in the forest. Bachao, bachao, and he was running. And he reached to a point wherein the end of the cliff, and it was like unending kind of a drop. In the back there is this cliff that, and then he suddenly remembered, because he had attended Chyk classes. Yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam vibandhanat tyormukshiyamamritaat. Started chanting. And the tiger was also a samskari tiger. In its palm and said, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Who is creating fear? My own mind. Who is the one who is feeling that fear? My own mind. It? My own mind. My own mind. So it is the ego that whips that mind into projecting these various vivid images. Sometimes in between these dreams, like unconscious. At that time, there is no movement in the body. And what awkward positions people sleep in. Say somebody was sleeping in the chair. I have a lot of experience in people sleeping in chair. Hint, hint. Chair with the earphones, with blaring music, and they're knocked out. It's funny when they sleep during the lectures. In my early days, I used to feel offended when somebody would sleep in my lectures. I think, this is such an outrageous thing happening, and it's wrong. And soon, immediately, I changed my opinion. Because sleeping is better than somebody snoring in my lecture. I said, okay, sleep, but don't snore. Because when you sleep, there is absolutely no clue what environment that you are in. Nobody is paying attention in the satsang that you have fallen asleep. Holding that big bulky Bhagavad Gita book in your hand, and suddenly it dropped. And everybody turns and you're like, very sheepishly pick that book and say, oops. Today. The worst part is they sleep, they snore, and after the lecture is over, they come to me and say, Swamiji, today's lecture was awesome. And that is like stabbing straight into my heart. So in the deep sleep, there's absolutely complete disconnect. Ego is knocked out. You understand this three experience? The Upanishads have described this in a very beautiful way. You see cars, you see vehicles, you see animals, you see various things in your dream, but none of them are real. So this lady, woke up, put on her glasses and again fell back asleep. The husband, who was reading something, saw this peculiar behavior, let her sleep. And the next day morning, when she was awake, he said, do you remember that you suddenly woke up in the middle and searched for your glasses, put them on, and a beautiful map for the treasure? But I didn't have glasses. So I put my glasses on and fell asleep. In a lottery in your dream, does it impact your waking? Had to work. None of us had to do anything. Close your eyes, fall asleep in your dream. All the 9 different courses of meal, eat there and wake up, you're satiated. You get a check, draw the cash, and you wake up, the cash is ready. That is real. More importantly, what is the meaning of this, Swamiji? I saw this in my dream. That it was a dream and it was not real. There's no more value to it. In the world itself, in Vedanta Shastra, there is no value to it. What are we talking about? Extra value added to the dream. Another plane of consciousness where you experience half-baked things projected by your mind, whipped by your ego. Someone who is enjoying or being scared in that dream. Now here, I'll take a tangent, but a worthy logic to be analyzed. Have you ever dreamt something which felt so real, you got confused whether you were awake or you are still continuing the dream? Once it happened to Janaka, King Janaka, Sitaji's father. He woke up in the middle of the night from his dream for all his ministers. That was one court where every minister was a realized soul, realized master. So they were all a little perplexed. In the middle of the night, what do you want? You've never waged a war. What happened? They said, I had a dream. They all said, continue dreaming. Why did you wake up? Why did you wake us up? No, I have a dream and it confused me. Dream, I saw myself to be a beggar who had not had food for 4 or 5 days. And the pain of that hunger was very real. And they all immediately jumped, saying, Oh Raja, that is only a dream. You don't need to be worried about it. You know better than this, right? Great. My question, my confusion is, king who dreamed of being a beggar, or am I the beggar who is dreaming to be this king? Of this is true. Answer this later. But think about it. Is the king real or is the beggar real? Because it could be the beggar, because whatever we don't have is what we project in our dreams. So could it be that it was the beggar all while dreaming to be a king, and that too such a successful king? So true that it had to be a dream. Is the king real or is the beggar real? Keep pondering on that while we continue to the next sloka. The 11th sloka. Repeat after me. Antahkarana vrittischa chitichhayaikya magata vasana kalpayet swapne bodhe kshair vishayan bahihi kshair vishayan bahihi. Antahkarana vrittischa chiti chhayaikyam agata. Karana, the inner equipment. Like the external equipments, organs of perception, of organs of action. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Mind, memories, and the ahankara. They are called the antakarana. Karana made of. They are made up of vrittayaha. You take a liquid which is acidic, which is alkaline, and you take a liquid which is neutral. Of them, the basic structure is nothing but atoms. Similarly, the mind, intellect, memories, and the ahankara itself, basic foundation building block is nothing but thought. Vrittayaha. How that thought acts, modifies, and behaves, the texture of the quality of the thought decides his mind, intellect, memory, or the ahankara. All clothes are made of fiber. Identify what that fiber is. What do? We take the cloth and feel it, the texture. If it is a velvet cloth, what is the feel? If it is a cotton cloth, it is little coarse. Nylon fiber, it is a little smooth. If it is silk, smooth but yet too refined. Different cloth. Similarly, different thoughts, the texture of it decides what kind of thought it is. It is of a texture of indecisiveness. Should I go to satsang? Should I not go to satsang? Should I have it? Should I not have it? I'm not talking about your mindset. I'm talking about my mindset today. Because my body is like totally pulped. that every limb aches. So he said, I'll press your feet. I said, it is not just the feet, Baba. Head to toe, every muscle is paining. So I was deciding, sitting there, should I not? In that indecisiveness, that texture is called. Then I decide, you know what? Let us go through it. Decided. Can be for it or against it. Both of them are still a decision made. To have a satsang or to decide not to have a satsang. Both are decisions. Of decisiveness. When is seen, then it is called an intellect. When the pattern or the texture of the thought is of, it is mind. When it is of exploring, it is the intellect. In that recognition, there is a certain pattern wherein action. That recollective mode of thought is called the texture of. It is green, this size. When you bite it, it is very spicy. What? How did you recognize it? I didn't name it. And I recollect it from my past experience. Recollection is very awkward. That I go from session to session to session. And many of these kids from different session had come to the camp. And to add to my memory problem, there were people from Houston, from Austin, from San Antonio, but that fellow was only one, so I recognized him immediately. But there was this girl who was asking a lot of questions, very pertinent questions that she was asking. Which city are you from? And she was like this. So, okay, sorry. Which session do you come to? I'm not talking to you. You didn't even recognize me. Which session do you come to? Now, once the recognition is made, the next time when I meet, the problem is, do you know my name? You speak. Name, I'm not very sure about it. I have a generic classification. Languages. And to avoid that kind of a before they can ask such questions, I start speaking to them in their language. He even remembers what language I speak, and they're happy with speaking in their language. So nobody questions, do you know my name? Don't make me look awkward, okay? When the person is coming straight with a beaming smile, and your mind is like, who the heck is he? I don't recognize this fellow. That mode when you're trying to remember, that texture is called the memory. With all these shades, there is somebody associating with I remember, I don't remember, I go or not to go, I have decided. What is called the ego or the ahankara. Of them are nothing but thought modifications. Karana vrittischa vrittihi cha. They are all different kinds of thoughts. Ichhayaikyam agata. Identification with the reflected consciousness, having come to the identification, having attained to that identification with this internal equipment, experience of dream is projected. So in the dream, who is functioning? Identified with these three layers is projecting a vivid world which is experienced as our dream. One of us have different kinds of dreams. Sometimes when I see these tiny tots, they're still in their crib. And in their sleep, they're smiling. I want to get into their head and see, wait, what are you smiling at? Dream of that little kid. Have you ever wondered? See, when we dream, we have a vast experience. So that little kid, I don't know what is he dreaming of. Faces or oceans of milk. Taste they know. Waterfalls of milk. Of milk. I don't know what they're dreaming, what they're smiling at in their dreams. Even a kid dreams. Do you know even the animals dream? I saw a dog. That is the first time I saw a dog smile in its dream. It was sleeping, but it was must be remembering some juicy piece of something. Depend of likes and dislikes, tendencies, we project our dreams. So in my dream, what would I be projecting? Which orange to pick today? Because the closet is full of orange. Orange. Would you dream of an orange wardrobe? No, that would not be a part of your life. To dream about Swamiji. But each dream is specifically catered depending on our likes and dislikes. Aha, kalpayet swapne. Dream, there are different patterns of it. Patterns express based on our vasanas. And when ego wakes up, bodhe hi vishayan bahihi, identifies itself with this body, and depending on each layer of the organ of perception and action with the world around. Each one of us has a different kind of a world. And each one is very unique. Imagine we are 7 billion population and 7 billion unique expressions. Unique. It is our vasanas that make us unique. Because the DNA pool should be the same when we are born from the same mother and father. Not just the DNA, something subtler than the DNA. Vasanas that propel us to identify with our body and then express and weave out that we choose to experience. Intricately we weave our world. What kind of experience is not allowed? We weave. So it is this ego identified with that layer with the mana, buddhi, chitta weaves the projection of dream. With the identification of this body, of the mind and intellect, based on our likes and dislikes, which is the tendencies of vasanas, the world outside. Plus or minus gained or experienced in the dream or the waking. Cherishing it, who is it that is experiencing it? It is the ego that is experiencing. Because every single moment, whether we have gone through it consciously or unconsciously, it is the ego alone identifying, sustaining stronger and stronger through every experience. To break that pattern of identification of the ego, difficult. Is so much clear? Any questions? I would say this is a very satisfying end. If you say something and nobody has a question, or three things. You slept through the class, or you understood everything, you understood nothing. Therefore, there is no questions. I would assume the middle one. You understood everything, it is clear. Okay, we'll stop here. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Shanti Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Om